Ukraine reports successful counterattack in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Ukraine's 141st Mechanized Brigade carried out a successful assault in Sichneve in eastern Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, liberating territory and inflicting losses on Russian forces, the military reported on October 7. The Squall assault unit eliminated 50 Russian troops in the battle, while 8 others were taken prisoner, the brigade said on its Telegram channel. The unit published footage of the engagement, showing Ukrainian troops advancing to the settlement, clearing out Russian positions with grenades and rifle fire, taking Russian captives, and displaying Ukrainian banners. The Kiev Independent could not immediately verify the footage and the claims. Sichneve lies at Dnipropetrovsk Oblast's administrative border with Donetsk Oblast, which is the focal point of Russian offensive operations in Ukraine. The Ukrainian monitoring group Deep State indicates that Sichneve, also known in Russian as Yanvarsky, is mostly located within the contested gray zone, with surrounding areas held by Russian forces. Russia has broken into Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, a previously unoccupied region of Ukraine, as part of its summer offensive. In late August, battlefield monitors reported that Russian forces had seized villages in the region for the first time. Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrskyi described the situation near the border of Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, and Zaporizhzhia Oblasts as tense during a meeting with journalists on September 25th, attended by the Kiev Independent. Syrskyi nevertheless claimed that Ukrainian forces had stopped a Russian attempt to advance. In turn, Deep State has reported that Russia managed to seize a number of settlements near Dnipropetrovsk Oblast's eastern administrative borders, while steadily advancing forward in multiple directions. In the wake of Russia's summer offensive, Ukraine reportedly launched its own counteroffensive operation in the east. At least 7 settlements were retaken during these attacks, President Volodymyr Zelensky said in September. Recently, Ukrainians ambushed Russians in the forest. The Russians started using old Ukrainian supply routes in the Serebryanski Forest to move troops for their next move. However, as Ukrainians held these positions for months, their drone operators knew exactly where to strike, tracking all their movements and unleashing devastating fire on the enemy front line and forces moving into position. As you remember, Ukrainians withdrew in one go from the Serebryansky Forest, as Russians had their handful of viable logistics routes through the trees under fire control with drones. This gave Ukrainians the brilliant idea and opportunity to turn the tables around on the Russians, as they knew exactly which paths were viable and where the Russians would be moving. In one geolocated video, a Ukrainian FPV fiber optic drone tracked a Russian UAZ Patriot near Kreminna, deep behind the front line, and destroyed it with a precise hit, eliminating the officer inside. A second drone confirmed the kill, showcasing how the layered Ukrainian drone operation works. In another case, soldiers of the 63rd Brigade tracked the movement of supply trucks instead, following them to a camouflaged Russian drone control point hidden in the forest. A strike destroyed not only the positions, but also the Russian drone operators inside, as well as their nearby ammunition depot. Each of these incidents illustrates how the predictable use of the limited old Ukrainian supply routes has made Russian forces vulnerable, easy to find, and easy to destroy. The lack of defensive infrastructure compounds Russia's problems, as Ukrainians had not dug new trenches as they withdrew in one go, leaving Russians with large areas without dugouts, tunnels, or proper fortifications. This left even less space for Russians to store supplies and equipment, which were now all concentrated on several larger routes throughout the forest. Russian troops moving in now must make do with foxholes and improvised shelters, which offer little protection against artillery and none against drones attacking from above. In one video, overcrowding forced Russian soldiers to leave their weapons and ammunition outside a dugout. A Ukrainian drone operator spotted the stash and, with only 4 munitions dropped, destroyed the dugout and its armaments in a clean strike. Poor sheltering options, combined with limited space, turn each Russian attempt to consolidate positions into a fresh disaster. This dynamic is bleeding the Russians before they can even engage in a real battle for Yampil. After taking one bigger trench fortification at the end of the forest across the village, Russian commanders hope to use it to advance more easily. On the contrary, this has made their attempts even more predictable than they already were, with every step forward turned into a death march for their assault groups. Video from Ukraine's 81st Air Mobile Brigade shows 2 surviving Russians, the last of an assault group, who briefly hid in a basement after their comrades were eliminated on the approach. Ukrainian drone operators targeted their hideout, forcing them into the open, where Ukrainian infantry shot them down on an open road like at a shooting range. Ukrainian troops report that similar attempts repeat daily as Russian commanders keep sending small groups into Yampil, but almost none survive. Ukrainian drone surveillance monitors every movement, destroying infiltrators before they gather strength, which buys critical time for the defense of the settlement. Ukrainian fighters highlight that without the drones, their overstretched defenses would be under far greater pressure. Instead, Yampil remains under Ukrainian control, with Russian assaults collapsing before they can establish any foothold.
Запрыгивай сюда. Давайте туда. Вот там тоже есть. Туда, пацаны. Давайте сюда, туда. Давай, пацаны. Здорово.